I needed a new ice tray and I didn't know which one I wanted. So I bought these 3 ice trays so that you wouldn't have to. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which one of these 3 ice trays is going to be the best one for you to purchase. So we have here what I'm calling number 1, number 2, and number 3. And at the end, I'm going to actually rank them, which one I think is number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now, these are 3 very different styles of ice trays. So let's start off with this one real quick. You have 2 ice trays, and then you have an ice container with a scooper. When you fill the ice trays up, the ice trays rest on the top of the container like this. And then the bottom here, this is silicone, right? And these are smaller ice cubes. Check these out. There is 32 ice cubes in each one, so 64 little ice cubes total. After the ice cubes are frozen, you turn it upside down here, you put it on there, it fits on there nicely, and then this lid has these little spikes in it, and you put it here on top, and then you press it down, and it pushes into the silicone and releases the ice cubes into the storage container. Now this one, number 2, this one comes with 5 trays and 5 lids. So right off the bat, I will say that these lids are kind of flimsy feeling, and they're actually really rigid plastic to where they would crack if you stepped on them. And even one of them right out of the bag, the tab broke off. So that's definitely to be noted. But let's look at the tray themselves. The bottom is black silicone. And then there's 14 cubes in each one. That's 70 cubes altogether. And they are silicone on the bottom, like I said, so that's very easy to pop them out, or it should be easy. But I do like that they have lids because, of course, that means you can stack all 5 of them. The lids do snap on pretty nicely. That's how they look stacked. Really clean. I'm excited to see what those ones are like. And then this one, which I'm calling number 3, this is just completely different. This one is all silicone, and then the cubes are rectangular. It's a completely different shape. I imagine these are going to be very easy to pop out because the whole tray is silicone. There's 15 cubes per tray, and you do get 2 trays, so that is 30 cubes. And they do come with lids. The lids are also silicone. That went on pretty easy. And let's turn it upside down and see. Okay. Let's see how easy it falls off. So I don't have high hopes for these lids. They don't snap on. Obviously, we're not going to be turning it upside down when we're trying to make ice cubes like that. So it's just important that it stays on enough for it not to come off when you're transporting it to the freezer. And also, of course, you're not going to be like squeezing it or whatever. You're just going to be keeping it nice and chill. All right, let's go ahead and put some water into these ice trays and see what it's like to fill them and put the lid on and then try to transport them, because that's really important. Starting off with number 1. All right, and then let's put the lid on it, and that is going to be this lid, which is also used for extracting the ice cubes. Okay, so that one's done. I do like how they have these concave sections here, because you can pour the water directly there and it just disperses it to the cubes all around it. That's kind of useful. I gotta believe that's by design. Let's throw the lid on there. And again, that snaps on so satisfyingly. All right, and for tray number 3, the all silicone one, go ahead and throw that on there. And again, this lid just goes on too easy. I don't have high hopes for it being very spill proof. All right, so let's do the spill test. So this is what we're calling 3, and I'm giving it a good shake in all directions, and it's not spilling. I think I spilled maybe a couple drops, but it's definitely not spilling as much as I thought it would. So you got to be careful not to press the bottoms up, but overall, I think this one passes the spill test. Not a perfect pass, but I would say maybe an 8 or a 9, depending on how well these other ones do, but pretty good. Good enough to where I wouldn't care about it and it wouldn't be a problem. All right, spill test for number 2, the set of 5 with the silicone black bottoms. These are also not spilling at all. I expected these to do good. These are rock solid, not spilling at all. This might be a 10 out of 10 on the spill test. And now number 1, this is the one that I think might spill the most, because the lid, it just rests on there and there's no silicone or anything. So yeah, you can see this one's spilling water. So I don't think you would ever move it that much. Let me do like a realistic amount of movement. So with a realistic amount of movement, it's not gonna spill. I don't think so, not very much. And there is a little lip on the side with holes so the water would just drain down below. During the spill test, it did spill. So it's not a great seal, but I think you don't have to worry about it. And if you look here, it's still full of water. So maybe I even overfilled it some, but didn't get a perfect pass on the spill test. But then again, when are you going to be moving something that much? Time to put these in the freezer. Okay, it's been a day, and we're going to start out with ice tray number 1. Now, this is the one that's a little bit different, actually a lot different than the other two, but it does come with an ice bin, and let's just get to it. So we're going to take the lid off, and we see the ice. The ice looks pretty good, kind of stuck here to the bottom. Let's see if we get it out of here. So that was a little difficult, but not too difficult. Now remember, the bottom of this one is silicone, and you're supposed to just turn it upside down and then use this thing to press down on there. So it's not hard, but it's also not super easy. I could see maybe older people having trouble getting these. They did all come out. Okay, looks just like what you would expect. These are nice and small ice cubes. I really like these cubes. And it comes with a scooper, so you can serve ice. Very nice. And then when you're done using it, you can just put the lid on and store it like that. Or you can fill the trays up and make more ice and put it back in the freezer. And I bet after doing one more dump, this bin would be completely full of ice. All right, let's move on to number 2. So there is no container with these ones, so I'm going to be cracking them into this bowl. Normally you would crack ice into your beverage, right? Let's see how easy it is to take the lid off. Pretty easy. Honestly, maybe easier than when it had water on them. And let's see. Oh, they came out just when I turned it upside down. I didn't even need to crack it. And then for the few cubes that didn't, I just pressed the silicone and they came out right away. Let's see how the rest of them go. They all pretty much fell out. The rest came out really easily. And also like these cubes too. They're a little bit different than the standard. Similar, but a little different. For that one, they didn't fall out. Gave it a little crack and they all came out. That was really easy. These lids fit really good and they don't spill, but they are kind of a butt to get off, which I guess it could be good or it could be bad depending on what you want. But the ice comes out easy, super easy. Easier than the first one with the little poker deal, because some people are not going to be strong enough to do the little spike thing on the first one. Overall, this is great ice. I got no complaints. The tray was easy to pop out. Okay, and now for the final ice tray. So this one is also really unique. This is the one that's all silicone. The lids don't sit very well on here, but they sit well enough. Let's go ahead and crack it and see what it's like. So you don't really crack it. They're not coming out. You really just have to put them all out, but they come out pretty effortlessly. All you do is just press it and they come right out. So these are also different size than standard. These are more rectangular, but not as deep as the standard ice cube tray. Come on, it's fighting me a little bit. That's definitely not something that's fun. So it does appear that I overfilled it a little bit, and that's why they got connected. But still, in day-to-day use, you're gonna overfill it a little bit. It's not gonna be perfect. So with this tray, you could probably expect to have that problem occasionally. But still, not too hard to get out, but I would say that presented definitely a problem compared to the other two. Now, before I tell you which one I think is the best and which one I think is the worst, I want to go over something that I didn't cover in the video at all, and that is which ones are or aren't safe to put in the dishwasher, because that's pretty important. Do you have to hand wash it? Do you have to put in the dishwasher? So this one right here, which is the most expensive one, explicitly says that you cannot put this in the dishwasher. So do not put this one in the dishwasher. Now, this one, which is actually the least expensive, says nothing. It doesn't say that you can or can't put it in the dishwasher. So with this one, I would just be safe and not put it in the dishwasher as well. But I would also say that maybe it's okay to put this part in the dishwasher. I wouldn't dry it in the dishwasher under heat because I don't think this would last. Obviously, the silicone is safe, but just to be on the safe side, probably just want to hand wash this. So these two hand wash, and this one, which is in the middle of the range, is 100% silicone, and it actually says on the listing that you could put this in the dishwasher, and some of the customers on the reviews said they didn't have any trouble, but some people, they said it didn't come out too good for them in the dishwasher. So the listing technically says you can put it in the dishwasher. and it's all silicone, but the lid specifically, I wouldn't want to put this through the dryer in the dishwasher because I could see it ending up getting warped a little bit and then not fitting anymore. Let's go ahead and just reveal which ones I think are 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go from the lowest to the top. So I'm saying this is number 3. This one is number 2. And then this one is number 1. So let's start off with why this one is number 3. So there's a couple reasons. For one, it's just weird that it's all silicone, and when you have the water in there, you have to be really careful how you hold it. You can't hold it like from the edge, and you want to make sure you're not poking it up from the bottom or anything. Although I don't think you're going to spill it or anything. It's just another thing to worry about. And then you saw when I was taking the cubes out how there was an issue where they kind of got frozen together. I did put too much water, but it's probably going to happen. And then they were the hardest to get out. They just didn't come out very easily. It didn't require a lot of strength or anything. It was just weird, and I don't need weird with my ice cube trays. Now, while I do think this is not the best of these 3, I do think that it's cool that it's silicone for other reasons. Like, you could put chocolate in here, you could put yogurt in here, you could put a lot of stuff in here, and nothing is gonna stick in here. You could fill this up with molten sugar and create like hard candies or whatever. You could do a lot of stuff in here, but I think for ice, this is just doing too much. I don't need that. I just need simplicity with ice cubes. Now let's go over to this one, and I'll tell you why I think this one is really good, but I also don't like it. So for one, you saw when I was releasing the cubes, it wasn't super duper easy. I don't think anybody under 50 is going to have a problem, but if you have weak wrists or you're older, you'll probably have a problem with this one. The second thing that I don't like is just the way you use the spikes to release the ice cubes. This is eventually going to pop a hole because this is soft silicone. This is 100% going to eventually get punctured from repeatedly being pressed on the bottom by these spikes. The other thing I don't like about it, which is I kind of have mixed feelings about it, is the tray that stores the ice. Yes, this is cool to have a tray to store ice, but I would imagine most of us have like an extra storage container we could use, or we could get a container for this. If you don't have one and you're looking specifically to get a storage container and an ice tray, maybe this would be number 1 for you. But the other thing is that I've had trays like this with ice, and in the freezer, these are all going to freeze together, and you're going to have an ice pick or something to be able to break these ice cubes out. So while it seems convenient, it could end up being pretty much a headache depending on how long you leave the ice in there. But for making a bunch of ice for a party use for a short time, great. This was the one that spilled the most when moving it around, but that's just because I was shaking it a lot to test it. I don't really think you'll have any trouble spilling it. I don't think the durability is here on this one. I do think this plastic is probably going to crack eventually. Just the whole release method of poking these on the bottom, I'm not a big fan of that. And the other thing I noticed too is that you can't fill this up very much with ice, because once it gets like above 3/4 full or so, you can't fit the lids back on there. They're sitting here, but they're not able to rest on there because the ice cubes are blocking it from being seated all the way. Not terrible, but ultimately, again, I think it's doing too much. Now, this brings us to what I believe is the best trays in the set of these 3. They do have flimsy lids, and I did crack one while removing it, so I don't think the lids are very durable. But you do get 5 of them, so if one of them or 2 of them bites the dust, I think you'll still have 3 good ones, and you could use the 4th one on top without a lid. And I think for our family of 3, we really only need 2 or 3 anyways to cycle through. I like the way they release. They're definitely 100% spill proof when you're using them to carry them to the freezer. And you could put a lot of stuff in here other than ice as well, because the silicone on the bottom and just how easy they release. No problems overall with these. And they're the most similar to a traditional ice tray of what you would expect. The cubes are a little smaller than the standard old school ice cube tray, but you get 70 cubes here with the 5 in the set. I really think this is the best value out of these 3. Like, this is what you would expect. You could almost get 2 of these instead of 1 of these. So I hope that helps you guys make your decision when deciding to purchase one of these 3 ice trays. They all have their pros and their cons, but I'm going with this one as my number 1 pick. See you guys on the next review.